Hi, this is Tim from UK Home Gym, your home for UK specific independent home gym tips and advice. And today I'm going to talk to you about weight plates. And weight plates are an absolute must for a home gym, obviously. But the issue of which weight plate to get can be quite divisive in the home gym community, and it can sort of spark some quite I don't know, not vitriolic, but some quite animated conversations about which kind of plate is better. I think I've come to a conclusion, having sort of owned lots of different kinds of plates, about which plates I think are the best for generally any UK home gym. Um, and I think that this answer is, it is a little bit sad, and I'll explain why. But I do think that you'll find it liberating. So first, let's just sort of quickly go through your options in terms of weight plates for a home gym. Let's just assume, for the sake of this video, that you're going to go with Olympic plates. Okay, let's say you're not going to go with standard plates. I think there is a big conversation to be had about whether you should have standard or Olympic plates and what the conventional wisdom is about that. Anyway, I won't get into that on this video. So what are your options? Okay, so I'd say option number one would be your sort of standard cast iron or maybe steel weight plates, but more likely, if you're sort of on a sort of a general budget, like a cast iron weight plate. Okay, that's going to be cast iron. It's probably going to be coated with some kind of rust-proof paint or something like that. But it's just going to be the metal there, right? Okay. Then the next option you might have is a bumper plate, where it's completely different material. It's made of a rubber, basically, repurposed tires usually, and it is unlike the cast iron plate, which could get damaged if you drop it on the ground. It's very difficult to damage a bumper plate because it's a huge hunk of rubber. So you can drop it, unless you take a knife to it. I don't think you'll be able to damage it in any way. But they're not the only two options, right? Now, if you talk about, like, I'm talking about a sort of conventional bumper plate there. That's not the kind of bumper plate you will see like in like a competition, like a weightlifting competition. There you will have like a competition bumper plate where those things are, very, very, very carefully measured in terms of weight. They have to be completely accurate or almost exactly accurate. Whereas there may be a little bit of variation with a sort of what they call a training bumper plate, which is what I was talking about before. But they're not the only types. You may also have a calibrated cast iron plate. That's usually used in powerlifting competitions, where those weights are very, very carefully checked. Just like the calibrated bumpers. So those are your options. Though there are other options, and the chief amongst those other options, I would say, is like the rubber or urethane coated plate. Okay, now that is where you've got the metal plate, but on top of it you've got a protective sort of coating. Sometimes it's not quite, sometimes it's quite sort of springy, and sometimes it's less springy. But only the central hub there is a metal part that is sort of exposed to the elements, right? So, out of all of these, which would you rather have? Well, I know which one I'd rather have, because whenever I watch the Olympics, I get very, very jealous of these beautiful stacks of Eleiko, color-coded, weight plates, and I think, well, that is beautiful. I would love, 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 love to have that in my home gym. However, I live in the real world, and I don't have a limitless budget to be able to buy something like that, and it would cost you an absolute fortune to buy like a set of calibrated, color-coded Eleiko weight plates. And if if you're just a general person trying to get on with buying a home gym, you're more than likely not going to want to go to that expense. Um, the same thing really with like a set of calibrated powerlifting, weight plates. That those are also color coded. They also look extremely nice if you see like a full set of them. Um, but again, very, very expensive if that's what you want to deck your home gym out with. So you're sort of left with the more sort of budget options, which are the rubber coated or the cast iron, and uh, or the sort of the standard training bumper plate. Okay, so you've got those three options really. Um, Now, let's talk about the advantages of each one. Firstly, for the steel, for the cast iron ones, they are, that is a classic, really. If you think about weightlifting, you talk about pumping iron, right? Pumping iron, really, that is the idea there of having the cast iron weight plates there and that rattle that they make when you put them on to the bar and when they sort of clank into each other. It's a really classic gym sound, and it really makes you feel, it inspires you, I think, in many ways. Um, Okay, so that is an advantage of those. However, I think they have a huge drawback, and I own lots of them. So I'm not going to just be uh, hypocritical about this. I do own a lot of them, and I enjoy that. However, I'm not sure that they're ideal because of the UK climate, and maybe you're lucky and in your home gym you don't really get a lot of humidity and moisture and stuff like that. But in my home gym, and I think in a lot of people's home gym, if it's outside, if it's in the garage, if it's in a shed or some other sort of building outside, they're just like a magnet for moisture. And then, of course, what's going to happen is eventually that's going to turn into rust. So you're going to have to spend a lot of time cleaning rust off them. And then also, maybe repainting them and stuff like that, or, putting oil on them and stuff like that, which is fine. And I do that with my plates and whatever. However, it's kind of boring. It's kind of a drag away from what you'd rather do, and that's lift them, right? So what are the other options, right? Well, of course, with bumper plates, you don't have any worries about rust, okay? They're fantastic, and of course, then you've got the advantage you can drop them. Some of them will have very long guarantees, maybe lifetime guarantees. The set that I have has a lifetime guarantee. That's also fantastic. However, they're not very practical for certain lifts. They're fine if you want to do squat, bench, deadlift, even overhead press. It's absolutely fine, not a problem at all. But you can't realistically load them onto a dumbbell if that's what you wanted to do with them. So if you want to go beyond just barbell exercises, then you'd have to consider that. So that sort of leads us back to the sort of rubber, plastic, or urethane coated option. And the sad and I think liberating truth about this is that they're probably your best bet for a home gym. And I say that's sad because in most cases, they don't look particularly special. They don't sound particularly special on the bar. They're not, if you sort of close your eyes and think of the home gym of your dreams, they don't feature in there, probably. But they're cheap. They don't rust. You don't need to baby them. You don't need to do anything with them. You just put them away when you finish with them, and that's all. And I think that, whereas a lot of us sort of get attached to these ideas of what we want our home gym to look like. In the modern world, gym equipment is not getting any cheaper. It's getting way, way, way more expensive all the time. So I think that something that's not going to get damaged over time, that's not going to cost you a fortune, that's kind of generic, I think it's a better bet. And I think that, it's time to be honest with yourself when you're going to buy your home gym plates. It's time to be honest, and I do think that these are probably the better option for you in many cases. Now, having said all of that, if you are, if you're saying, I'm not having any of this, I want my cast iron plates because it doesn't feel like a gym if not, fine. If you can accept that, okay, I've got to look after them, I've got to spend the time, cleaning them up, repainting them, and that's just going to have to be part of the project, fantastic, then go with that option. Or if you are like, well, why on earth would I want to do anything with dumbbells? I'm perfectly happy to, squat, bench, dead, or do Olympic lifts. I don't need any of this nonsense. Then go with your bumper plates and, live long and prosper, basically. You'll be fine with those. But yeah, I think if you're just a general sort of, a general lifter who doesn't have those concerns, and you're thinking about which plate to buy, the answer usually is going to be the rubber coated ones, and a lot of people will tell you otherwise, and you may listen to, home gym channels from the US with much bigger followings than mine who will tell you, no, 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 you want to get the metal ones. No, 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 you want to get the bumpers, or you want to get bumpers and metal ones and forget about the rubber ones. They look awful. They come from a slightly different place. Remember that, American home gyms, American energy is probably cheaper than ours. American home gyms are in space, more spacious areas, whatever. We've got to make do here in the UK with smaller spaces that are more humid, and when you're competing against the weather's usually going to win. Anyway, I wonder what your thoughts are on this. Maybe you completely disagree with me. What are your favorite types of home gym weight plates? I'd love to know. Please let me know in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and so on. Please check out our website. That's ukhomegym.com. And I'll see you next time on UK Home Gym.